Hi, I'm Paul O'Sullivan and I'd like to show you a step-by-step cardboard sculpture Indian chief head and shoulders that I made for an art project recently. So this is the finished product. I used pictures of Indians, and I had a three-dimensional little statuette of an Indian as well that I used for reference when I was trying to make this. Didn't really know what I was doing as I couldn't get too much information on the internet. Here's the materials I used for this project: corrugated cardboard, cardboard postal tube, newspaper, scissors, masking tape, large, medium and small paintbrushes, gold paper napkin, black tissue paper, wool, white Posca paint pen, decorative tape or ribbon, and I used acrylic paints: red, white, black, silver, burnt umber, yellow ochre. And I used a basic head template that I found on Daily DIY on YouTube, and there's the link there for it. So when you get your template off the internet, get your corrugated cardboard and then trace your design onto it and then cut out your template. And that's kind of where I started my project from. So I'll just show you some pictures of that. So when you cut out your template, it kind of looks like that. You've got a right side and a left side. And the link I've given you there actually shows you how to assemble this. And they have 3 different types of templates. That's the back side of it. And that's you glue that and mask and tape it then to kind of keep it together while the glue is drying. And that link will actually show you how to assemble. So you assemble 2 halves together, and there's 3 different sizes on their website. You can have a small, medium or a large. I used the large one, life-size head, and then I used a postal tube, but you can use a rolled up newspaper as well, or a piece of cardboard rolled up as well. So when you see the link on how to assemble the template, then get your assembled head and place it on top of a postal tube or your newspaper loosely, but don't glue it at this stage. That's kind of what it looks like. And remove your masking tape when your glue is dry. And this is where I'm starting my project from. So next I cut out a basic oval shape out of cardboard, and I cut out a 2-inch rectangular strip and glued that to the sides of the oval shape around the edges to make it easier for me to glue this to the basic head shape. I didn't really know what I was doing when I started this project. The next one I do it differently. So that's it there, and then remove the masking tape when your glue is dry. So that's kind of where I started from. Then I just started cutting out cardboard shapes for eyebrows, lips, etc. I cut a large kidney-shaped piece for the cheeks and then some smaller ones to try and build up some height and depth on the face. And I cut various shapes for the chin and forehead. Don't be afraid to experiment. I didn't glue anything until I was happy with the look of it. And I used folded over masking tape to temporarily hold pieces in place until I was more sure of what I was doing. And then I glued them on. And that's kind of what it looked like. I mean, the forehead's a little bit square for what I would like, but I'll know what I'm doing more now the next project I'm doing. Then I cut out some larger pieces and rounded the cardboard a bit by bending it with my fingers. I cut out copies of the lips and put a few layers over each other to build up depth, and the same with the nose and around the eyes. Then I glued that on when I was happy with it. And that's it there, is coming together a little bit more. I cut out small round circles for the pupils and I glued them into the eyes. I painted the face using a mix of burnt umber mixed with yellow ochre to get the desired skin tone that I wanted. I used white, black and burnt umber on the eyes. I placed highlights on the pupils using small paintbrush and white paint. I used black on the eyebrows, and I mixed white and red and gave a kind of a blush to the face. And then I placed a black wig on it temporarily just to see what it looked like. And that's it there. I rolled a piece of cardboard around the postal tube for the neck and I painted that in the same colour as the face, and I glued it together, but I didn't glue it to the postal tube yet. And that's the way that turned out for me. Next I made a rectangular piece from cardboard to allow for the neck and postal tube to sit into it at the right height for the shoulder tunic to sit on top. I cut out another piece rectangular with an extra inch around the edge, and I cut that inch part all around and then folded that upwards and glued it inside the rectangle about a third of the way up. Don't glue the head and neck into this just yet. And this is what that looks like. And it's just to get it at the right height for what I want to do. And that's it there. If you look inside, you see where I cut that piece, and it's probably setting about a third of the way up on the piece I was using. So the shoulder tunic I cut out from cardboard, and I measured the neck and cut a hole out the center and checked that it fit correctly. Always cut slightly smaller and then you can adjust. I measured around the edge and cut vertically to create a fringe look, and then I glued wool lengths vertically and horizontally to create a weave look. And this is what that looks like. You can see where I've done the fringing, where I've glued the wool, and where I've cut the center piece out. I use gold coloured paper napkins. I separate the 3 layers. There's usually 1 or 2 white backing layers on napkins. It's called 3-ply or 2-ply. And I only use the top coloured layer. Then I applied glue to the cardboard, patted the napkin down onto it gently with a dry brush. And when it had dried, I went over it again with a layer of glue. And that's that there. I covered the whole tunic with that coloured napkin. I stuck some decorative red pattern tape onto the dry tunic. Ribbon could also be used instead. And I folded the tunic over the rectangle and then glued that into place. And that's how that turned out. I sat the postal tube and cardboard neck into the tunic and checked that it was at the right height. I temporarily placed the head on it just to check it was right, but didn't glue that on just yet. I decided to make paper hair, so I took the wig off the sculpture and I painted the back of the head black, just to give it a good base. I cut out long strips of black tissue paper for the hair and then I glued them on bit by bit. I folded some of the paper over and cut it just to get long strips, a couple at the same time. And that's just what that started to look like there. I put them on either side of the head as you would for parting of a hair in the center. I didn't do it all the way around either. When it was dry, I plaited the hair and secured it with a piece of the decorative tape that I used on the tunic. That's kind of what it looks like now. There's the little Indian I was using for my reference in the background there. Next, I checked around the head, jaw and neck area just to make sure that it sat well and that it could be glued easily to the neck. I added a piece of cardboard and bent a piece of it so that it would connect with the neck on either side. I lifted off the head, stuffed squashed up newspaper into the head area to make it fit a bit tighter. And when happy with it, I put the glue on the postal tube and neck area and then pulled the head back onto it, securing it at the folded cardboard piece I had added. That's the piece I added there, so it would actually connect with the neck. And obviously tidy up the jaw area a little bit. I then painted the parts of the jaw on the side of the rectangle that holds the tunic. And that's that there, it's half painted just so you can get an idea. And I painted the inside of that tunic. Anything you could see with the eye, I painted it in to match then. To make the necklace, I cut out 3 long strips of cardboard and painted them silver. I glued them to the back of the neck. And there they are there. Then I decided to make a headdress out of cardboard as well. So I made the headdress by cutting out one long rectangular piece of cardboard, measuring the length from approximate ear to ear on the sculpture. I cut out a thinner piece and glued that on top. That's the white, red and gold band at the front of the headdress. I drew feather shapes on cardboard and cut them out and glued them to the back of the larger rectangular piece in a staggered pattern. And I cut out cardboard circles for the sides of the ears area. Then I painted the headdress and the feathers white and black, and I painted the feathers on both sides, anything you'd see if you had it sideways. I cut out small rectangles and glued them onto the headdress as mock feather holders. I don't know what they're called. I used wool and glued in a zigzag pattern on the front thin piece of the headdress, and then I used more of the gold napkin cut in triangles to fill in. I decorated with white Posca paint pen. So that's my project finished. I hope you liked it. Please feel free to share.